We didn't want to say anything hilarious without you.
Welcome on in, everyone, to Lily being quiet. Hello. It is Valhalla's Most Wanted Podcast, episode number trace. It's very exciting because this is the spoop edition, as you can tell by our amazing costumes today. That it is indeed October and fall has started. So let's go around the table here. Of course, I'm PlatinumTrophyWife, your host here, and we can bring it on over to this wolf-looking guy. I don't know.
Wolf-looking thing.
I don't know what he's doing.
I'm Grey Wolf Gaming co-host. Hello, welcome back. Glad to see you all.
And I think we have this darling little kitty cat in this corner over here. If you want to introduce yourself.
It's a fox.
Oh, just kidding.
It's cool. How's it going? I'm LilyiPie, aka Lily. Nice to see you guys.
And then we have this, I don't know, this kid. Maybe he'll be a Jedi someday.
Now this is pod racing. I am TheGrayLord. Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you all.
And welcome, one and all. We're going to go ahead and get right into what happened last month, because as you know, we have a podcast every month, every first Sunday. And a lot of things happened this last month, I'm not going to lie. We had September. Which, of course, if you got gifted a sub, and it's still going, actually. It's going until mid-October. If you got gifted a sub, you can continue said sub for only $1. So as we are all Twitch streamers, I wanted to kind of talk about September and how you like this promotion versus last year, which was discounted, I think. Subs were half price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 50% off.
Yeah, you had a sub yourself, but it was half off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, thoughts on this September?
I loved it. As a person who considers themselves currently poor, the opportunity to hang out and when somebody gave me a free gift sub to pass along that was tremendously powerful for me. I got to sub to some of my favorite streamers, which, you know, I normally just get to support with my lovely chats and the occasional bits. So yeah, for me, I loved it. It was huge.
Do you think you spent more than this September than last September? Because you're
100%.
like, oh, it's only $1 versus, oh, it's 50% and you know.
100%. Especially because I was new to Twitch a year ago.
Okay.
In fact, I had just been on the site a couple of weeks. And so the idea of it's just $1, like, I didn't even know, compared that to normal month at that time.
Like, I don't even know.
$1.
I spent literally the same last year as I did this year.
You spent more?
I spent the same.
Oh, the same.
Yeah,
0?
Yeah. I consider myself currently poor, and therefore don't spend money.
Ah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Currently, I mean, a year ago I was still poor. This year I'm still poor.
Yeah, I think I definitely spent more this time around too, just because, yeah, it gets you. It's like, oh, it's only $1.
Yeah.
Then it keeps getting added and added and added, but I liked it. I thought it was a good promotion. I think at the beginning it was really confusing, and I didn't like that about it. But as time went on, I think people caught on.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, because, like, that's what I was thinking, was this one, it relied on other people gifting the sub. You know, it, like, relied on someone else and then the other person, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this promotion's gonna work, you know, kind of thing, because it's like, you need two people to kind of team up to support somebody using this promotion versus you just, like, wanting to sub to someone for cheaper.
I'll be honest, I don't even know if I had an opportunity to use it.
Oh, see?
Like, I could be wrong. I don't even know if I was gift sub to anyone to allow me to do it.
Yeah, so that's what I was curious about, but it seems like the majority of the people spent more than they did last year, so it's a win. I guess it worked.
Yeah.
Well, there was a great tie into the fact they just allowed random gift subbing. Just enable that. So the amount of random gift subs or people that are gift subs probably went up overall across Twitch, so this was a good tie-in to that.
That's true. That's very true. So that was September. It was very exciting for Twitch streamers, of course. Like I said, it was a very, very cool that they do it at all. Nevertheless, kind of mix it up from what they did last year. But I do want to get into this like main person that's actually on the podcast now, and that is LilyiPie, who turned 3 this month, which is a very long time to be streaming. I would love if you talked about like kind of the evolution of streaming, because we're more recent streamers, so.
Well, I did start 3 years ago. Sorry about my squeaky chair. By the way, I'm sure that's gonna happen a lot.
Oh, I was hoping mine squeaked, but it didn't.
I did start 3 years ago, but that's what I kept saying. Like, I haven't been streaming full time or anything that whole time. And I know there's been a couple times in that 3 years where I took a break from streaming altogether for 3, 4, 5 months. But it had been 3 years since I had that first Agario stream that was so bad back in the day.
But so how did it go?
The 3-year stream? Oh, it was so fun.
Even though it borked the rest of your stream since then.
I think it was worth the sacrifice.
The hype was too real.
Yeah. It was way too lit.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But it was nice, and Agri was here with me, so that made it really fun.
Yeah.
It was just like hanging out, playing games with boyfriend, and getting to celebrate with everybody, and just kind of had a bunch of stupidity going on. So it was just fun.
Yeah, I really, because I was there especially during the marble races.
Oh, yeah.
And the marble races were really fun. Like, that game is so stupid fun. Like, it's way too simple to be that much fun and, like, to play for hours. You're like, let's do another one.
I know. When I first saw it on Kat's stream,
yeah,
when she does, I think she still does it. I was like, what is this? Why are these people sitting here just watching these marbles? Like, I don't understand. This is dumb.
Yeah.
But then you try it once and you're like, okay,
let's do
I get it.
It makes sense now. I'm on board.
Yeah. Oh shoot, what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. So I think that marble game totally started from like the YouTube video of that marble race. And I like it kind of went viral. And because they were like, you pick a marble, and then it was like, are you gonna vote for the blue marble, the red marble, the green marble, or whatever? And then they like go down this beach like obstacle course. And I'm pretty sure like that had to have been where somebody was like, we can just make a game out of this. Because it was like, it went like viral, and everyone was just like, oh my god, this is so exciting to watch, and it's marbles. Like,
I don't know this video.
Oh my gosh, maybe we can Google it.
Literally, you now know everything there is to know about it.
It's true. And then they like had a second one, and it was like, we're back.
I just assumed it was inspired.
You can't watch it more than once because you then know the outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's fair. I just assumed it was inspired by my childhood because I had one of those things where you could set up in the different tubes and you could build it around the room and
wow.
somewhere.
Cool.
That sounds way cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Is that what you asked for Christmas?
Yeah,
some of us had parents who loved them very much.
Show off.
Show off. Oh my goodness gracious. And so I wasn't able to make Bozon's charity stream last night, but I'm pretty sure it was lit. I went to a wedding last night. I don't know if you guys were able to catch it, but it did happen yesterday. Oh
no!
Panic.
We're down one.
GrayLord! We're down a person!
He's been replaced with a symbol.
Oh man.
I'll take the symbol.
All kitty wampus when that happens.
I know! I hate it! GrayLord!
I knew it was coming, so I had to turn to look because I wanted to see what happens like the stream app.
It's
like
awful.
we all like jump up and jump down. We're like half covered.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've been here the whole time.
I know.
I mean, I have been here the whole time on my end.
I didn't go anywhere.
I will try just coughing as quietly as I can when it happens then. I am sick this week, guys, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries. You're fine. You can just cough right into the mic. I'm sure everyone loves it.
Alternatively,
We'll survive.
Turn your head. Like...
Turn your head and cough?
Listen,
exactly.
you see what I'm wearing. There's no head turning in this thing.
But yeah, so Bosan's charity was just recently, which is awesome. I wished him all the best, but obviously I wasn't able to go personally, so I can't really.
Do we know how much he made? How much he raised?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I have no
I don't
idea.
have the total.
Bosan, how much did you make?
Bosan, where you at?
Come on,
Bosan,
chat. Get us this answer.
come on up here.
We need an investigator.
Special guest.
Just he like pops in, ruins all the things again.
Bosan, how much did you make?
There he is.
Bosan, what the what? How much did you make for your charity stream? Also, like, props to you, bro. I hope it went super well. But as we're waiting for that answer, also this last month, Twitch communities have ceased to exist. Which is like, Bosan, like $45.
$45 hype.
Lit.
I would take $45.
Bosan, that's awesome, dude. $45 is $45. They would not have had that $45 without you. So, congratulations.
And the people who donated.
Yeah.
I guess they count too. No, but this last month, Twitch communities have ceased to exist, and now there are these Twitch tags instead to help viewers find streams they actually want to watch. So I just wanted to talk about it briefly because obviously we are a streaming community, so that kind of affected us, being that everyone had that tag on under our streams. So obviously it's not going to change us at all. We still have our podcast, we still have our Twitch channel, and you can still find us by going to our Discord. Obviously, and honestly, that's where our community thrived, was on Discord. So just wanted to bring that out there. But from a streaming perspective, do you guys like the change of, no more communities, just having these tags? Have you guys felt the, viewers coming in because of tags instead of the communities or anything? Thoughts? Little thoughts? Big thoughts?
I feel like in the end, it's not really going to change much.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the medium to large streams that I watch on any regular basis kind of either choose meme things or things that don't really matter.
Even with
and
the
I
tags?
feel like, yep. Like,
really? Like what? Can you give an example?
Not off the top of my head, but
Oh.
nothing that pertains to the stream that I noticed. And then I feel like for small streamers, it might end up working to some degree, but I feel like with small streamers, more often than not, if someone randomly comes into my channel, it's usually because I'm playing a random game that not a lot of people play anymore. And they're
Right,
like, I love
right.
this game. And they come in for
Yeah.
that game, not any tag, any community. Like, that, I don't know. It might end up being better in the future. At the moment, I don't feel like it really does anything.
Yeah. I haven't seen a difference at all.
Yeah.
I think I've had a couple people come in from like a Nintendo community I used to stream to,
Okay.
and all the times I've streamed to it, but it seems pretty much the same to me. I never used communities much though, outside of Valhalla's Most Wanted,
Right.
so maybe I just don't see it as much because of that.
Well, the statistic was that less than 3% of the viewership found streams through the Twitch community. So the tags were supposed to change that, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was talking about it on my stream, saying that communities were much more like talking about the streamer. Because it's like we had Valhalla's Most Wanted. I had like girl streamers community or something. So it's much more about the streamer, where these tags are much more about the game or the gameplay. So I think it will be beneficial. The viewers have to know to click on it to find what they want to find. Because they may want to find speedrunners, but they don't know to click on the tags to find said speedrunners.
Yeah, I wonder if playing a game that belongs to a community, for example, a lot of those tags are very community centric, like the battle royale, squads, duos, singles. Those are clearly, if you want that kind of content, those are the tags you go to.
Right.
So as a variety streamer who streams psychological, educational, family friendly content, those are the sorts of things where there's not a community kind of built into the tag already.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much that plays into it.
Like, let me quickly go through some of the tags that I'm seeing literally right this second. So a couple people have language, English and Dutch and things like that. That I can find being useful, especially like
Mm-hmm.
And that one's automatic. You
Oh, yeah.
can't change it or delete it.
But like
I've used that one when browsing.
the
English?
tag casual playthrough. I'm not gonna click the tag casual playthrough and see everyone who's doing casual playthroughs of random games. Warming up. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
that means that they're
100%.
going to talk to their chat before they get started, like Lily. So Lily could use that.
Is that
But,
what it like? What's the description for warming up tag?
The description
I
is
didn't know
like
that
you
one.
talk to your community before you start like your game.
Some light calisthenics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use it, Lily. You're missing out on all these viewers who want to talk to
Oh
you.
my See, I heard that and I thought like warming up before, like trying to do some PB event attempts or something.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same. But like if you read
Huh.
it, it's like they're talking to their people.
Well,
Whereas
I
I had a theater background, so I'm thinking la 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 la.
They're just like in their stream, they're like, oh, all right, guys, we're ready.
So like the,
Me,
yeah, but their
me,
tag,
me.
like I can't imagine anyone actually clicking to use to find other things.
Mm.
Mhm.
And I think it's more of like, I want to watch Uncharted, but I want to see a casual playthrough of it. So that's where it's like, you don't click casual playthrough to find casual playthrough of any game. It's like, no, I want to watch Uncharted, but I want to watch a casual playthrough. So it's like, that's how you narrow it down.
Yeah.
And that's how you're
Yeah.
supposed to use it. I don't know if people will use it that way.
Get
Yeah,
it
but
together,
using-
Twitch.
What?
Get it together, Twitch.
Yeah, I've been using tags more like going to the game I want to watch and then seeing those to get the feel for kind of like what stream maybe that would be if I decided to go into it. Rather than like communities, you would go to the community page and then find someone there.
Right.
I guess it has a dual purpose.
Yeah. And Bozon said, honestly, I feel like the new tag system pushes smaller streamers to use more or other social media platforms to promote.
That's always been the case, hasn't it?
Yeah, are you talking about like Twitter or like Discord or something, Bozon, and like Instagram and stuff? Or no? Please elaborate. Please explain or scrutiny in
To
detail.
get that cross promo.
Get that cross promo play.
We're gonna end up bringing Lonely Bosun into this podcast.
I
before
know,
we
he's
do
might
that.
as well just like hop in. We keep talking to him. But yeah, no, that was a really big change recently. Well, is it big if only less than 3% used it? I guess it's not a big change, but it kind of, we were, people were worried about it since we are a streaming community. People were like, oh my God, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to see how content will change, maybe potentially to reflect those tags. For example, Kato taking up pottery making to really integrate that into his
There
stream
you go.
persona.
Streamers who actually use the tag to then drive their content.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting.
That's interesting.
But Mr. Bo says, I wish we could make our own tags like a VMW tag. See, the problem with that is that's what communities was. That's what it was before, is that anybody could make whatever they wanted. So there was literally, I mean, this is an estimate, I have no idea, but there was probably like 1 million communities that only had one person in it. Because it would be like a joke, or if it was serious, no one would join because it was just too much. People didn't know what to do with it.
Can verify, was the only person in the psychology team.
There you go. So I do understand them being like, okay, you know what? These people can't make communities. So let's just have a list and everyone can click what they want.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, in the end, I don't think really it's going to do a lot.
Yeah.
I
I
feel
think
like
it is a better
I feel like-
system. But I still don't
feel
know
like
how many
what's
people are
happen
going to
as
use it.
time goes on. People are going to cherry pick the ones they think are going to help bring them in.
Mm-hmm.
Like people will do that. I feel like that's what's it's going to end up being. Not that like, oh, the stream doesn't really relate to this, but this seems like a popular tag, and I guess I'm kind of like,
I wonder if they'll have bots then, because it's like people would choose a different game just to draw people in. And I wonder if they'll have bots, because they had then bots to make sure you were using the right game. I wonder if they'll do the same thing for these tags. Make sure people are on par.
we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction from communities, but I think we just need to learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Well, and
properly.
props to Outlaw, in my mind. I mean, the fact that we have Discord and it's structured so well, and the whole Valhalla admin team, Like, you know, the change didn't hiccup us at all as a group, you know, because we're already hanging out all the time in Discord. We've got those streamers at the top, so everybody automatically knows one of our Valhalla Most Wanted members live.
Well, because we never relied on that tag. You know, it's like we asked people to do it so that way if people on Twitch, they could kind of see us united on the Twitch front. But it's like that was never our relying, you know, foundation.
Yeah,
our foundation is on Discord. Now, if Discord leaves, that would be
That's gonna be a problem.
It'd be like, okay, let's go to Skype.
Yeah, it was mostly there for convenience because you just like at the end of the stream, you just click it on Twitch. Community is like, all right, I'm gonna host this person.
Yeah,
like that was really all it did. But like now you just hop into Discord instead and go, this person. Like,
yeah,
it
exactly.
doesn't really change much in that regard. Like so.
So something, and GrayLord, I'll kind of have you take this over because this was something that you wanted to talk about. So by all means, take it away.
Absolutely. So a big Twitch streamer, Disguised Toast, very recently did sort of a behind the scenes video on his life and talked about how much he makes as a streamer and how much based on that information he thinks that the average streamers make. He's been in some top 10 lists depending on the month. You know, Twitch is a very flexible income source depending on the type of income you receive from it. But with the major ones being donations and subscriptions, you know, it can change pretty radically from month to month depending on how consistent you are and just life factors. And so something that was really fascinating. I really enjoyed the video enough to bring it up here now. And just would love to hear your guys' opinion on it. It felt like a lot of money. He said he earned about 100,000, if I remember the math when I was watching it correctly, a year, which, you know, is really good money. Now he's at the top of the pyramid.
Right.
In many ways.
I thought his was more than that. I thought it was close to like 240, 250.
Well,
he made about $20,000 a month from like.
It was 20,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So 20 times 12.
Yeah. So
add some zeros.
Plus some berry and stuff like that. So I'd say between 200 to 250.
And that's top 10?
Usually he's in the top 10 viewers per month. Usually.
Yeah. It was a month that Shrode was still on top instead of Ninja, so it's not.
No, Ninja was by far ahead of Shroud.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
See, I clearly remember this video very, very well.
Yeah, because he had like 100,000 subscribers.
No. There were two different graphs that he showed at one point. One was just his at the top, and then yes, he did show the very huge variance and specifically projected how much Ninja made. Yes. Sorry, I was talking about two different graphs in the video.
No worries.
I thought you were talking about the one where the viewer graph where he shows how many like viewers in a month, and he's like, There was a screenshot of a top 10 viewers on Twitch for a month that had Shroud on top at one point, and then later he had the projected with Ninjas.
Nope. All right, could someone go to the video? Let me go ahead and I do have the link
live.
actually.
Yeah. Just
maybe I'm thinking of the sub one, but I could have sworn Ninja.
It's not the sub one for sure. I don't think, because there was like 100,000.
Well, no, but that's what I meant. Like, I might be thinking of the sub one where Ninja was so far ahead.
Yeah.
But I could have sworn that.
Basically, my point was he's top 10 sometimes, probably pretty consistently.
Right.
But not always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair though, how much of these incomes are solely streaming versus advertising?
He does a great job of breaking that down.
Yeah,
actually.
he breaks it down a
really?
little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So like
don't watch the first
sponsors.
3 seconds.
Don't watch the first 3 seconds.
Please don't.
That's not allowed.
It's crucial you avoid the 30 seconds.
Bozon. Oh, so he was talking about specifically streaming, but he also goes into sponsorships and what that means if that does mean putting them in a commercial, but that doesn't mean. But that's only like if they're sponsored or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't go into outside like, oh, you know, Fortnite wants Ninja to do this commercial or something.
Yeah, so basically he breaks it down in if you're partnered versus a premier partner, you either get $250 or $350 per subscription If you are doing sponsorships for video games, you can make anywhere between 1 cent per viewer per hour up to $1 per minute per hour per viewer. So anywhere between like 1,000 to about 10,000 per hour you make when you're sponsoring for certain games, depending on how much they're willing to pay. As well as he breaks down how much you can make for like making people watch ads and how much he makes in a given month based on his people watching ads, and he doesn't hit the button. So he's purely talking about the ad it plays when you first load in the channel, and if it randomly decides to add how much he makes, because he doesn't hit the button to give himself more money. So he breaks all of that down, and in the end, he makes about 20,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the statistic of how much they make for sponsored games hit me the most. I was like, holy shamoles. Well, because he talked about how he gets like 10,000 people watching him. So if it's 1 cent, you're getting $1,000. And I was just like, oh my God.
Boom. Both graphs he shows, Ninja's at the top. The first graph he shows is top 10 streamers on Twitch by total hours watched. Ninja has 8.3 million. Second place is Shroud at 1.7.
As you clearly need this, okay.
The second graph he shows is subscriptions, and that one still has Ninja at top.
Since you need this, okay. That's my favorite. I freaking love it. Anyway, but yes, no, the whole video is very, very interesting. I will put out there, for the record, we are not earning that much money. That is the top 10%, and obviously we are smaller streamers. But it was interesting to look at regardless, especially... Like, I'm sure we all have had the conversation of talking to our families and being like, we could make this much money, though.
You're doing what with your time?
You're doing what with your time? Are you getting money from that? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't find your videos on YouTube anywhere.
Oh my gosh. I've talked about this before, but like, my in-laws, they're like, they don't get it, like, at all. And they also don't like video games, so they doubly don't get it. And however, they try to be supportive, which is very nice. But they're like my mother-in-law is like, oh, you know, I saw this like 12-year-old boy who like opens toys and he's like getting millions of dollars. Why don't you do that? Okay, I'll just do that and get $1 million. Yeah, it's totally fine.
I've had the conversation where I'm always amused by what I consider an arbitrary decision on what's important for a child and what's not in terms of like hobbies. And like my mom mostly raises my nephew.
Okay.
And she doesn't like how much time he plays video games. But she like just tells him like to stop or just do other things. Like she just doesn't think it's a good use of time. She thinks it's like antisocial, despite the fact that he mostly plays like Minecraft with friends, Fortnite with friends. Like he plays these things with friends he's met online. And recently she's been trying to encourage him to like do like drawing. He's a really good artist. And I fully support, if he likes drawing, also encourage it. I disagree with you, discourage one thing to encourage the other. But like the reason she doesn't like the video game, she feels it's antisocial, but she's okay with him sitting in his room alone drawing. Like that's more antisocial, but in her mind, drawing is a worth of time.
Right.
But video games is not.
Right.
You're wasting time.
I never thought about it like that. Because like doing art is much more high tier. It's like, oh, you're actually doing something with your life than like playing a video game.
Which is funny, because if you do art in college, it's like getting a band. You put back down a rung. And
then it's like, oh, you took art as your major? Good luck.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Like the mentality of predominantly in the South of like sports.
Yes.
Like football.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there are high school stadiums larger than college stadiums back in New York where I was from. But like your chance of succeeding and becoming successful in a sport is so small. In theory, so's your chance in like YouTube or Twitch or something like that of being that successful is small. But people are like, no, this is worthwhile. These concussions, these broken bones, you build a character. This is a good spend of time. That's not, you're never going to go anywhere with that. You're just likely to do with that. Like, it's this arbitrary, like, importance that people put to things over others.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
just the stigma surrounding video games and streamers and everything that I feel like we've all had to deal with probably at some point.
And it is a generational thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't grow up with video games being a monetary value, and there's a lot coming out about health in the sports and stuff like that now versus how it was. So I think it'll begin to change, but it's not going to happen anytime soon.
On the flip side, as a nerd, one of my first thoughts after reflecting on the video was it would be really interesting to see like variable income for most people. Like, obviously Toast, Ninja in particular, they're the 1%. They're the 1% of the 1%. The poverty line, the federal poverty line, and I did look this up, last year was $12,400 and something.
Okay.
So, I know that if I were to count Twitch as my sole income, I'm way below the poverty line.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like
I was below the poverty line last year and will be this year in tax.
yeah, and it's fascinating to me a little bit how much video games is becoming more viable, but I would imagine for most people it's not yet versus potentially something like art. So I can see some of those the value in some of that, though art would be really, really hard to make good money in as well.
Oh yeah. That's the other thing is like, are you kidding? You can't. It's so hard.
And that's just the federal poverty line in the United States. I didn't look up any state specifically, but yes, it is very variable in the United States, and of course worldwide it's different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess. So speaking about video games and how we all make an income off of it, a new game came out recently. This little thing called Mario Party.
Don't know if you've heard of it before.
I don't know if you've heard of this guy, this Italian plumber.
Indie company.
Luigi.
Luigi.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Luigi.
that's right.
I was about to say the same thing.
I was saying his name wrong.
Brother Mario.
I was saying his name wrong. I'm so sorry.
Peachetta.
But,
oh no.
actually, it's Bowsette.
No, Nintendo just released a new one called Peachetta. Which
Seriously?
is
Really?
Toadette picks up a power-up crown and becomes a version of Peach.
Oh, but that's how Bowsette came about. It was the Peach thing, and
Yeah, I
then
think so.
they were like, Bowser, let's be sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's claiming that they had
Twitter.
already just, thought up Bowsetta and it's actually their idea. No, the internet blew up with Bowsetta, and then all of a sudden Nintendo's like, we did think of that. That was our idea.
Yeah.
That was our idea.
You're welcome.
I was like, well, you should have done that before the Peachette. That's for sure.
Mhm.
But no, Super Mario Party came out, and some people are upset. It's interesting. So I would love, even though Lily, you don't have the game, but you are very Nintendo-centric, and so I would love to hear all your thoughts about Super Mario Party.
Well, I'm surprised to hear people are angry now because, we heard about this months ago, right? That the multiplayer was going to be kind of sucky and just be a few games and not really a board game. It still sucks. I think it's a bad decision. But I don't know. Were people blindsided by it and they just didn't know?
I didn't follow the release information of Mario Party. I didn't. So I was blindsided by the idea that they're like, you can't actually play the game online with friends. You can play the small subset. We have 80 games. You can play 10 of them at any given time, and we're going to decide what 10. And
So
it's
it
just
sounds like
that.
Overwatch's arcade, it switches out modes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been trying to talk about, and I mean, it kept getting delayed, but we're going to do this paid online thing. We're going to do this paid online thing. So you get this expectation. Oh, now that I'm paying for online, I'm going to get some value out of this. And they're like, no. You're not.
No.
Not for you.
No.
Because you have that, like I was saying before we started, Hyrule Warriors. They released the Switch version, we've added multiplayer. You can play with friends. Only if they're sitting next to you. You can't play online, but we're adding an online feature that you're going to pay for, but you can't actually use it.
Yeah.
Why? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's funny how, for whatever reason, Nintendo doesn't want to do it properly. Because it's obviously everyone wants to play Mario Party on multiplayer. but they want to like keep it to these mini games. And I think the outrage comes from, even though people may or may not have heard about it, it's like the reality is set in and they're just like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, if you're able to do it here, why can't we just do it here? Do you think it'll be something they do later, though? Later in the career of the game?
Nintendo, no.
No?
I don't think they would be smart.
Not at all? They won't
Maybe in a
update
later
it?
Mario Party game.
So you don't
Like-
think it'll be this one at all?
I don't think
I
they'll.
just have
like,
no faith in their
Really?
in online and Nintendo and online. I just don't. Like, I love
you're
Nintendo.
talking-
I don't have faith in Nintendo's online.
if you're talking about like if they're gonna release an update or something,
Yeah.
for this Mario Party, I don't think so at all. Maybe a future one. Yeah, I'm with that, but definitely not this one.
Oh, that's
I think-
fascinating.
I think at best they might eventually allow you to from the all 8 games, but I don't think
Mhm.
they'll ever do the full board game.
It's so it's like such a no-brainer to do
I
that with
know.
a game like Mario parties. Like, why aren't you doing it? I just
I think that's where the outrage is coming from.
angry all over again.
Yeah, you're just like, I know you said you were gonna do this, but it really upsets me that you're still not doing it.
Like,
We
I
like
feel
all
like
had a
there's
little
this-
bit of hope.
Yeah.
I feel like there's this weird trend where, like, way back when games only had local multiplayer because online wasn't as big of a thing. It wasn't as not everyone had it. So you had all these games that all had all these local multiplayers. Then online started becoming much bigger. So you started rolling out all these games, and a lot of them were like online only. Like they had a local
Mhm.
single player or like online multiplayer, and like local multiplayer like disappeared. Like co-ops and things like that just vanished.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting there with your friend, like I can play or you can play, but we can't play unless you also buy the game, go home, and we can do this thing. And now I feel like we're slowly going back to you only have local multiplayer with games, and it's like, but why? The internet is like amazing now. Like why are we transitioning back? Like on Switch right now, you can go onto the store and buy Mahjong.
Okay.
Not like the matching tile game, like legit Mahjong.
Okay.
And it's 2-player local only. Mahjong is strictly a 4-player game. But for some reason, they have a 2-player local only version you can play.
So do they change the rules if it's supposed to be 4 people?
The other 2 are just PC. Like, they're just computer. But,
Oh.
like,
Hmm.
you can't even do local 4-player.
That's so weird.
Like, you only, like... Oh, I just don't understand Nintendo. I just don't understand their decision process.
You know,
That's
I think
so
it's that Nintendo saw how many friendships they ruined with Mario Party 1, 2, 3. They're just really trying to protect the internet.
They're like,
just-
we're
they know-
protecting
Yeah.
you.
We should be thanking them, really, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they've had this epiphany and foresight.
Is it to get rid of like a salty community? Like they didn't want a salty community, so they're like, you know what? Let's just not create this, and we'll.
Right, we're gonna make it $20, so we have a lightning rod issue that everyone gets mad about, and then we're actually gonna save people in the shadows from themselves.
Oh man.
Oh,
Nintendo
man.
has a history of this. Smash Bros. Nintendo did not like how popular a competitive game Melee was. For some reason, they didn't like all the people playing this game.
They didn't like
So when
money.
they released Brawl, they deliberately added a feature where if you go from standing to sprinting so much, there was a counter that would go up, and eventually your character would just randomly fall over. Like that feature was introduced in Brawl to discourage the competitive scene because they didn't like all of the people playing their fighting game competitively.
Okay. Okay. So
Hmm.
why? Do you know why? Oh.
I mean, they want to be the family-friendly company, and they didn't like competitiveness.
Yeah, because now I'm seeing a trend with all their decision making, so this almost doesn't even seem out of left field. This really does seem like they're, instead of like, oh, let's have a bunch of people play our game and make a ton of money, they're like, no. We really want to make sure people enjoy the game and not get salty at other people. Like, I find that fascinating that they didn't want to be a competitive game.
They actually designed a aspect of the game to make it not competitive. Which is why even today, if you ever see Smash Bros, it's Melee and then Smash 4. Like
Yeah.
Brawl just doesn't exist because it's just shitty.
Huh. That's crazy. I've never heard of that before. That is insane. Didn't you did, which one did you do competitively, Wolves? I forget.
Melee.
Okay.
I went to a couple tournaments. The largest tournament I went to was about 200 people. I made it into the top 32, but the skill bracket from top 32 to 16 is insane. Like, I played a lot, but I was still a casual.
Yeah.
Where, like, the people in the top 16 played 6-8 hours a day.
Right.
Like, they'd go, like, they'd practice combos. So, like, the skill gap was huge, but I mean, I'm still, like, I made it top 32, like,
yeah.
it was good, but it just wasn't.
You're like I did it!
Yeah. So.
Very true to any top of any field.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the exponential need of commitment.
Yep. Well, on Nintendo, I mean, with amiibos, I remember that same complaint is that there's never enough with the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. You know, there aren't enough. The supply is never reaching the demand. So, just the business practice in general are interesting to see.
I mean, yeah, the Wii for like a good like year and a half or something like that after release was still on eBay for more than the system is in a store. It was just so hard to get a hold of. Like, people were just buying them all up and then selling them on eBay for more than their value.
Talking about competing, like in tournaments competitively. I heard Agri was in a competitive tournament recently. Which is it? Why are you laughing? That's awesome.
Do you know how mad I was that wasn't streamed? So
they told us it might be streamed, but then they never did it.
They never do. I went to both the sites because they have a Vegas version and they have a generic one. I checked 3 different Twitch channels that they have. I messaged someone who works for them, being like, "Are you streaming this?" Like, "Oh, we never stream the PUBG one. We stream this one on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and like Friday." So like, I tried to find that and do it. Like, I was like wanted to like watch this. Like, they never do it.
Yeah, we went in not expecting it, but then when they were setting up, they were going, "Okay, well, this might be streamed on this." So I, spread the word as much as I could, and I went and followed the channel. I was like, these guys like never stream, but okay, if they say they might stream it, then that would be cool.
That'd
be never. And like, I don't understand why, because if they stream like every Fortnite one, like they do something every night of the week, and they stream several of them. Like, you don't need commentators, just stream it.
They did have commentators though. That was the thing. Like, it was very professionally done. But the only people who could hear the commentators were like, me and 3 other people sitting in the bleachers. So it's like, why are you, putting all these resources towards it when you could be streaming it? It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. They had great commentary. The gameplay was on point.
It takes 2 seconds to go live, and then you just do the same thing you're doing anyway.
I didn't get it.
So, for those who don't know, what was this tournament that Agri was in?
So, in Las Vegas at the Luxor, they have an esports tournament arena, like a professional gaming arena. And I think it was on Monday, wasn't it? Yep. I think it was on Monday. Every Monday they have a PUBG tournament you can sign up for.
Every Monday of the entire year? So there's 52 tournaments?
Well, I don't know if it's every, the entire year, but as much as I was looking at the calendar, it was every single Monday. They have Mario Kart. They said they used to have Overwatch, but they got bought out by another sponsor, and they don't do Overwatch anymore.
Oh, no. That's crazy, though. Fortnite. That's a lot of tournaments. That's a lot of
On the flip side, that's only 52 chicken dinners you have to cook. That's not bad.
It's only 52 chickens.
Yeah, but it was a really great place. It's a place where you can just go any time of day, and you pay like $18, I think, and you can play on their computers or have like a little LAN party for a couple hours.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. So is that why you were in Vegas for so long?
No, we went to Vegas because Agri was starting up a new job, so we went to get a vacation in before that. And then we were celebrating our anniversary. That was actually my anniversary present to him. I signed him up for the PUBG tournament. I didn't tell him about it till like the day before. Yeah.
Was he like, I'm not prepared?
Well, I wasn't going to tell him till like maybe an hour before after we were in Vegas, but you can bring your own keyboard and mouse, and I knew probably he would want to do that. So I told him beforehand.
Okay.
And we packed it up.
That's nice.
Took it with us.
So what place did he get?
He got 5th. Yeah,
out of
5th.
6.
Not very many.
Oh no!
I think
like
there
30?
I think there was 12 people, maybe about
That's not
12
bad.
people.
It's above.
But the first round he dominated. Like all
that's
these
awesome.
other people, I guess, play, every Monday in this tournament, and they all knew each other and they were friends and they're all in like the same Discord together. And then this random guy named Dagry from Texas walks in, and I think he killed. Yeah, it was 12 people because he killed half of them in the first round himself. So
Oh my
he had 6
gosh.
kills.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Who is this guy?"
Who is
And then
this
he
guy?
let it get to him and lost the other rounds.
Aw, bummers. Well, that's really cool. I was so proud of him that he did, well, first of all, did it and then did well. Because I think that 5th out of 12 is absolutely doing well.
Yeah, for
I'm
his.
just pissed they don't stream it.
I know. I want to
Like
watch
I said,
it.
I tried hard.
I tried
I wish
so
they had.
hard. I wrote them a strongly worded letter.
Still in the mail.
So some other games came out recently, including Spooderman and Tomb Raider. I don't know which games you guys have played or have not played, excited about, whatever. So by all means, just take it away. Not everyone at once, though.
So
I
have not played Tomb Raider, but I 100%ed Spider-Man. Like,
Oh, that's right.
meticulously-
So,
like,
that was hilarious in
most open
Discord.
world game, as soon as you have the open world, they're like, oh, if you go to this location, like Assassin's Creed, like it'll show you more of the map.
Right.
And right off the bat, they're like, oh, and you have these backpacks that you can find. And I haven't even finished the tutorial yet, and I found all the backpacks, and I did all of the expose more map things. So every time the game was like, oh, now we have these other things that you could do. I did them all.
Right.
And then I would do a little bit more mission, then I did them all. So then there's one where you got to find these hidden things that don't show up on your map unless you're really close to it. So I went to the southernmost tip of Manhattan, went from west to east, went a couple blocks north, went from east to west, went a couple blocks north, west to east. And the game is just so fun, just swinging and playing the game. It's so well done. I loved it.
There was no crime left in New York City.
No.
There's no crime left. That's exactly what I did, though. When, right at the end of the game, and there was that perk that you could see these secret photo locations. I was just like, I must do this, but there's no way to look. It only shows up on your mini map, so you have to be close. And so that's exactly what I did, where it's you're going down every single street, just making sure you don't miss anything.
Very early on, the game introduces the ability to fast travel, and I didn't use it once because just swinging and traversing the city is just so much fun.
It was really fun. I so enjoyed Spider-Man. And to answer Mr. Bo's question, which one's better, Spider-Man or Tomb Raider? Because I have played both extensively. Spider-Man is so much better. 100%.
Spider-Man was the game for the PS4 that almost got me to buy one.
Oh, see? I like this.
It's so good. It's so much fun.
It was really fun. The story's way better, and the voice acting, I think, is way better, and the character development is way better. And that's what I look at for games, is are the characters good? Is the story good? And then the gameplay, if that's good, is all gravy. Which, for Spider-Man, the gameplay was awesome. And Tomb Raider, I have fallen off many cliffs. It's so stupid, honestly. It makes me so angry because right now, for those who don't know, I'm playing Tomb Raider on Deadly Obsession, which is the highest difficulty, and I need to do it for a trophy. And so every time you die, it goes back to, because there's no autosaves, it'll go back to your wherever you stopped at a campfire. So you're constantly looking for these campfires, and I have died. Over half of my deaths is just from bad mechanics where I jumped a weird way, or she didn't latch onto the ledge, or I didn't realize I had to scramble up the wall, so I just fell all the way down because I thought she was close enough to the ledge, stuff like that. Those have been more than half of my deaths, which is very frustrating. Because then you go back and you lose at least 10 minutes of gameplay, at least, but sometimes it's 45. I lost 45 minutes one time, and I was I'm done with this game at this moment.
Laura needs some wall climbing abilities.
Yes.
Like Spider-Man.
And that's the frustrating, because I literally just beat Spooderman, and then to go to Tomb Raider, where it's you can't climb up this ledge. You need this ledge. I'm just I was Spider-Man. I was climbing everything.
We need a hybrid game.
Would I ever do a
Spider
trophy involving playing on the highest difficulty without ever dying? That's Limbo, right? Like Limbo, you can only die a couple times for a trophy. I don't know. Probably. Depends on the game.
Gotta get the plats.
In Limbo's case, that's a much shorter game than something like Tomb Raider.
Yeah, Tomb Raider would probably be 6 hours, I think. If like you just did the story.
Mm-hmm.
The Spider-Man's like 6
maybe,
hours if you
maybe
just
less
watch
than
through
that.
story.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is not a long game story-wise.
But it has a lot of like side quests and missions you can do to beef it up, right? From what I've
To
seen.
some extent, like it's not going to approach anywhere close to like Skyrim or Witcher in terms of like side quests. Like if there's a quest, it's generally the main mission, but there's a lot of little sub things you can do. Yeah, like
Okay.
if you do everything, try to get like the gold medal and all like the little achievement things you can do. You're gonna have 20, 30 hours. Like it's still a good amount of game, but like the story itself is only like 6. The story is really good. It's really well done. So, and like it's not an intro game. It's 8 years into Spider-Man. They never even tried to hint flashback or do anything about an origin story. He just has been Spider-Man for 8 years. Like go. Like so it's really good.
Which makes sense. If you're going to pick up a Spider-Man game, you're going to know something about Spider-Man already.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Agreed.
yeah. And so for those who haven't watched, I think it's Video Game Sins for Spider-Man, and you've played the game because it will spoil the whole thing. Highly recommended to check it out because it talks about how like this Spider-Man game just like took so much from the Batman series. And I've never played the Batman games, so I didn't know. But I was just like, oh, maybe I should play them because I really enjoyed Spider-Man. So maybe I should go back to like Arkham Asylum and such.
Having not played Spider-Man, but having played Batman, I can see the parallels between the combat and the stealth mechanics from watching.
Yeah, I heard a lot with the
other
stealth
people play
mechanics
Spider-Man.
are the same, the combat's the same, and then even the idea of, oh, Batman's been Batman for a very long time, so feel like Batman. Go have a fun time.
Well, I was actually talking about this with a friend about the fighting mechanic differences between Batman and Spider-Man, and how the parallel is when you play the Batman game, you're fighting as Batman. You just kind of go through the fight. It's well done, but you don't really feel like you're doing much. Like basically, you're just hitting attack, and occasionally you're told there's an attack coming from over here, so you just hit this button to like counter or dodge it, and you keep hitting attack. Where the difference is when you're playing Spider-Man, there's a similar mechanic there, but the game does a better job at forcing you to be Spider-Man than Batman does in forcing you to be Batman. Because when you're playing as Spider-Man, there's so many other things you're paying attention to, and there's so many other variety of bad guys you're fighting at the same time. Like you're fighting a guy over there who's trying to shoot you, a guy who's flying up there trying to net you, a guy way over there shooting rockets at you. These 3 guys are trying to come up to punch you. That guy has a shield, so you can't just punch him. That's a big, heavy guy, so if you punch him, he just punches you back harder. So you're trying to do all these different mechanics in these fights at the same time and web that guy, throw this missile back at this guy, dodge these bullets and shoot that guy in the face. That way you can punch this guy. Then you got to roll on this guy, hit him in the back because he had a shield. And then like it forces you to be Spider-Man in the fighting mechanics much more than Batman forces you to be Batman in the fighting mechanics.
That also made that game hard to stream. Because like all the combat and then even going throughout the city and stuff like that, because you're constantly pressing like R2 to attach and then you hold on to it and then you let go when you detach from the web. And so it's like literally everything in this game like required so much focus that it was pretty hard to stream. I had to like hit pause, go to the menu and be like, hi chat, how are you? What are you up to nowadays?
Especially when you do missions where you're trying to chase the drone and get like gold in those.
Yes. Oh my gosh, those were so frustrating. I'm so glad you didn't have to do all of them for the trophy. You just had to do most of them. I mean, I did all of them, but I didn't get all gold. I was just like,
oh no,
we're done.
I did.
Yeah.
Some took like an hour on like one alone just to try to get gold.
Yeah, because oh man, it was fun though.
Well, and Batman, I think, paved the way for Spider-Man.
Yes, 100%,
oh, absolutely.
100%.
The first game to use that combat. And influenced every hack and slash after it.
It's definitely very much influenced by it. I agree 100%.
You would consider Spider-Man a hack and slash?
I think the combat is very hack and slash. That Batman started with, and I have seen that same combat style in a lot of games that feel very not true necessarily to the heart of hack and slash, giant sword, armor, or a beat 'em up, but yeah, it is that, like Wolves described, it's button mashing with timing, and you can be thoughtful and add combos. But it's sort of its heart is you don't have to necessarily be great at fighting and combo and hack and slash.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about it like that because I feel like I'm doing so much, but I think you're absolutely correct.
Which is why I was saying, like, Spider-Man is a much better evolution in that, because you are required to put more thought into Spider-Man than you are in Batman, but it's definitely 100% influenced by Batman. And I would agree that I would credit it with hack and slash roots, and then like there's like subsets and stuff. But yeah, I would agree.
I love those types of games. It makes me feel so great by like pressing square.
I'm excited for the eventual Star Wars game that uses those. That's better than The Force Unleashed.
Jedi Academy 2. It doesn't use those mechanics.
It's an excellent game.
Oh, that reminds me. So at Disneyland, I don't know if you guys have been there at all. I've gone plenty of times.
I haven't been to Disney World since I was 6.
No, not World. Land.
Whatever one's in Florida is the only one I've been to.
That's World.
I was 6.
That's World.
I've been to Land once a couple years ago.
Oh,
I've never been to any of them.
My sweet summer children. I've been there so many times. Anyway, sorry.
Hashtag Southern California problems.
I have.
Like,
I'm just, it's just one of those things.
I don't actually know this is true, but I feel like when I was last there was 27 years ago. Which of you are older than 27? Well, okay. So he's the only one that was alive when I was went, at least.
But anyway, I bring it up because at Disneyland, there's a Star Wars area, and they had like this little Jedi show where, the cast members would come out, and there was like 2 of these Jedi masters or whatever. And it was very kid orientated because then they would be like, does anyone feel the Force? Come up, and we can, get you in. It's called the Jedi Academy, and it was really adorable. And it would always have like a ton of kids, and they would like pick them out. And they'd have a ton of kids, probably like 20 kids on stage, and they were like, okay, we're gonna teach you some of the ways of the Force. And they like all got a lightsaber, and they like learned their little moves, and they like did the Force, and it was really, really cute. And then at the end, they would like pick one kid that would like fight Darth Maul. And it was very spoopy. I was like, if I was that kid, I would like run.
There are videos of kids dropping their lightsaber.
Yeah, just like dropping and running. There was a video of a girl who got to the very end. Darth Maul comes out and she drops her lightsaber and bows to him.
Oh my gosh.
And she's like as if like pledging her allegiance to Darth Maul. But anyway, it was pretty funny. But
the dark side is very alluring.
It's, they have cookies, so what can you say? But no, that show, after how many years of running, is actually ending soon. So I thought that was kind of sad because I did really like that that show. It was really fun to watch, even though it was totally kid orientated. But it is ending, and so if you have the means to go to Disneyland, check out the show before it leaves.
We lost him again.
Oh God,
GrayLord!
It was working so well.
It was working so well.
No, when I went to Disneyland, my favorite ride was Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
That's another one that gave me nightmares. Are you kidding? You go to hell, like, in that ride. Like, you straight up die and go to hell. Scared me so bad.
It's for kids?
It's for kids. Not for this kid. I freaked out. And I've heard that before. Like, my brother's the same way. He's like, oh, I love that ride. I was like, how? A train runs you over. It was so spoopy. Why'd you like it, Wolves?
I was 6. 27 years ago. I don't remember why I liked it. I just liked it. That, and then there was a Star Wars one where like 6 people got into this like enclosed device, and there's a big screen, and a robot comes up and like gives you a tour, and then suddenly you're in the trenches and stuff like that, and like the whole machine turns and moves, and like
that's Star Tours for those who don't know.
So,
It's really quite enjoyable. And there's like different scenarios that can happen. So your trip could be different from someone else's.
maybe now. At the time, there was one.
You said you've only gone once. How do you know?
So I went on that ride more than once.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they've like revamped it and stuff. It's really cool.
I would hope so.
Especially with the new
Unchanging.
ones. Now there's
27
like
years of Star Wars,
Force
unchanged.
Awakens. Yeah, just
The best trip my family ever did was to Six Flags New England one year. We went the first week of school. So like most schools, at least in New York, you start on like Wednesday or Thursday. You have a couple days, and then you have one next week. So we went on vacation that week. Because my mom was like, it's the first week of school. They're not going to teach you anything important.
right.
It's not an important week of school. There's no tests. There's no essays. There's nothing really that happens that week. So that's the week my mom planned the vacation. And it was amazing. Six Flags was empty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got on the
Six
scrambler.
Flags is so much
There's
fun.
no one in line to go on the scrambler. And the guy's like, you guys want to keep going? And we're like, yeah. He's like, all right. Want to go faster? We're like, yeah. He's like, all right. Eventually, he's like, want to go faster? We're like, yeah. He's like, legally, I can't have you go any faster. Have fun.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Like,
amazing.
it
That
was
is
the
awesome.
best vacation ever because the park was empty.
I love Six Flags. So,
yeah.
what amusement parks have you guys been to, or what that you want to go to?
I just always went to Six Flags as a kid.
I love
We got
Six
Six
Flags.
Flags. The Tex is right over here.
Yeah.
I've lived a lot of places, so I've been to Hershey Park and Busch Gardens, Disney World, multiple Six Flags, and a lot of little tiny parks.
Is Hershey Park worth it? I've heard different
mean,
things.
Going for once to see the chocolate and some of the rides, I enjoyed it in high school.
I enjoyed it, and would you not enjoy it now?
You know, it's been, how old am I? 10 years since I went, so.
I just like,
and-
I don't know. I don't understand, besides like you get chocolate, like what the appeal is to go to Hershey Park.
Yeah, I mean, your standard is Disney World, so maybe not for you.
I wouldn't say that.
Standard is Disney World.
My standard
Oh,
is
hoity-toity platinum over there.
Disneyland.
Why would you go somewhere that doesn't have 50,000 rides?
50,000 rides.
Wait a minute, you don't have multiple areas with different themes?
I don't understand.
It's just chocolate?
Don't understand. I need at least 5 rides. And I must be scared on one of them.
There's not a Harry Potter anywhere in sight. Why even bother?
I really don't understand that.
But growing up, we had the Great Escape, which you could, like, it didn't update itself in like 20 years, but it had the oldest wooden roller coaster in the world, the Comet. Didn't have any loop-de-loops or anything like that, just woo. But yeah, there you go.
Woo.
It was a slide in his backyard.
His mom told him if it was amusement park. You can go here anytime. We have memberships.
I do need tickets, though, and you're going to have to do chores for these.
It
No,
costs $1.
That's smart.
If you showed up with a Pepsi can, you got like $3 off your entrance.
Oh yeah. Six Flags always did that too, didn't they?
Yep.
Whoops.
So,
Alrighty. Well, we are coming to a close. So if you guys want to go around and maybe talk about what is going on in your own streams upcoming this month and Valhalla as a whole, I'm not sure what we have going on. However, I know GrayLord has something coming up. So GrayLord, if you want to go first, actually, because I know you got something special. Do you want to talk
Maybe
about
not.
it? I think you're yellow. It's just like typing immediately.
I caught none of that.
Oh, no worries.
Oh. We were just all just waiting in silence. Bated breath.
Yeah. I got 0. Like,
tell us about your upcoming month. What do you plan?
Yeah, what
I
are you
can
doing?
do that. Absolutely.
Great.
It was.
But with more pauses, please.
I can't. Let me thoughtfully reflect. No, this coming month, Spooktober, as I have decided to call it, I'm doing a head-to-head Halloween costume poll all month. where every month or every stream, 4 different possible costumes are going up against each other. So the first stream was the sexy category, and sexy teacher and cat have moved on. Yesterday was the video game character theme, and so Kratos and Toad have pulled ahead in that category, and those 4 will go head to head, and over the next couple of streams we'll continue to do this until there is only 1 costume left standing, just in time for the Halloween Eve stream.
Ooh.
Which I'm very excited about. We're playing Darkest Dungeon at the moment, talking about stress. It's been a ton of fun. If you like watching people who are normally very composed melt down as their characters are threatened by death and will inevitably die, that's when you want to catch. Yeah. Multiple people have commented before on how even keel I am. I don't, I can be hard to read for some people because I'm just very level. And I about had a meltdown yesterday as people were threatened with death. So it only was going to get better.
Wolves, Lily, do you have anything planned for Spooktober? October? Spoopy? Too spoopy?
I ain't got shit planned. I'm just gonna wing it like I always do. I don't plan things.
Go follow Wolves. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
It's always a surprise.
On a side note, I really hope it's not Toad that wins because I can't think of Toad normally at the moment yet.
No,
the internet ruins everything.
That's fair, and I'll have to cope with that as we move forward if Toad continues to win.
What about you, Lily? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm playing some scary games. I think, I don't know, maybe like the last couple of weeks of October, doing a little Spooktober stuff. I think we're gonna play Undertale, because I know that just came out on Switch not too long ago, even though I'll be playing it on PC. I guess it's technically a Nintendo game now. So I think we're gonna do a pacifist playthrough of Undertale, which I'm looking forward to. And then
are you gonna speedrun it?
Oh, no. Like I speedrun anything. And then we're
gonna
play
murder everything
Until
or
Dawn.
murder nothing?
It's
Murder
pacifist.
nothing. Pacifist.
Okay. I missed that
And then
part.
we're
I apologize.
Gonna play Until Dawn.
I
I've
love
been
that
playing
game.
that a long
Is this your first time play? Oh, I haven't played in a long time.
I've seen it before. I've seen some gameplay of it, so I know like a few things, but
Okay.
I haven't played it before myself.
Oh, yay!
Should be interesting.
I love that game.
You
As
wanna know
someone
what-
who hates horror, that is like one of my favorite games.
I can't wait.
It's
To
so
this
good.
day, one of my favorite like scary games is, I want to say it's Alien vs Predator 2, when you play as a human.
Ooh.
Because you play as a human, you're constantly in the dark, but like the games, like the movies, you have like a little motion detector that's going off. So you're just in the absolute dark, and out of nowhere, boo, you're like, freaking, what's going on? And like the very first level you play, there is a pipe that'll fall from the ceiling, and you will unload a full clip of this pipe because you were that wound up and tight of like what's gonna happen. Because the game specifically has like bugs and insects that like hop around or move along the walls that occasionally pin your motion sensors.
Oh.
Ah, it's so good.
Ugh.
So you have all that to look forward to this October of all those good things. So be sure to follow each one of them if that's what suits your fancy. I will be playing spoopy games because I just get scared and I don't like being scared. So I just play spoopy games where really they're not scary at all. And be sure to check out next episode of the podcast of Valhalla's Most Wanted podcast. That's what you're watching, in case you just tuned in and you're like, I don't know what I'm watching.
Welcome in.
This is the end. The Valhalla's Most Wanted is a streaming community. Every single one of these people are in the streaming community of Valhalla's Most Wanted. And the next episode of the podcast will be November 4th. So mark your calendars. And follow us on Twitter at VMW Stream. You can follow us on Twitter if you want to talk to us, hashtag VMW Talks. So thank you, one and all. GrayLord, Wolves, Lily, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.